think that is better. I think I reset my computer and things are working now. You should be able to hear me. There's a little hiccup before. Welcome, welcome to day 5. Let's get cracking with Advent of Code, day 5. All right, we're still in our submarine hydrothermal vents on the ocean floor. Avoid them forming lines. It's a relatively simple input. It would be easy enough to parse, and I think we should start feeding in the data. So before we've been just basically scanning the data file and just pulling it in lines of strings. I'm wondering if we should start doing a little more of that manipulation on the front end there. So for example, on this one, doing like one replace action with space, arrow, space, and turning it into a comma, and then using the comma to split into an array, right? So we have just the 4 numbers, and then even changing those numbers into integers, right? We know we're gonna have to do it anyways. Well, probably. In some cases we don't, right? But in this case, it looks like we will. All right, so they form lines. Here's the coordinates. X1, Y1 to X2, Y2 coordinates. So 1, 1 to 1, 3 covers points 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3. Okay. Only consider horizontal and vertical lines. Well, that is sort of telling us what it seems like the second part's going to be, right? So potentially we only have to deal with, a portion. I mean, certainly we'll only have to deal with a portion of these. So like we'd ignore this, we'd ignore this, do that because 4 and 4 this. Okay, yeah, and that's what we can do. We can say, are these two equal, or are these two equal? Because that would be the criteria for knowing that they're either horizontal or vertical, right? All right, so we'll make a function to test for that. Right, it looks like what they have here is kind of an array with, okay, so they intersect. Gotcha. So starts at 0, and that would be easy enough, right? You do your operation, you make 2 different kinds of loops, right? Either sort of a loop over the row or the loop over the column, depending on if it's horizontal or vertical, and just increment up to 1. They have dots here to make it easy to see, but potentially mine would be 0. Number of points where at least 2 lines overlap. So anything greater than 1? Is that what they're saying? Okay. That seems easy enough. Let's get started. Let's go ahead and use 4 again as our base. This. All right, so let's first start with our inputs. Our test input. Glad to be done with those 2-part problems. And our puzzle input. How many did we end up having here? Those bingo cards. 100? Um, okay. So we should see 500. So that's not so many. Um, anyways, in thinking about this, there's two ways maybe that we could do this, right? We could have something like a array like they have here, where we, every time we get a number, we grab that array and change, the XY indexes um, based on their instructions. The reason why, let me open this again. The reason why I am resisting that is because it's looking like it's going to be like 1,000 by 1,000 array, right? So that itself is like a million different points. And I'm sure that's not a problem. That's not that big, I suppose. Especially if you're like not going to be remaking a new one every time. You're just going to be pointing to the same one, right? So, alternatively, what we could do is make a map, right? And the map's keys contain something like this, right? And we increment that, right? So we only cover so in this case, instead of having 100 data points, right, in this array, we have however many this is, right? Like 15, 20. That could potentially be faster, but also that could be like way worse because now instead of having, a million just digits, right, that are, probably no greater than 3 or 4, so probably like a single digit, right? We have a map that has a million keys, right, that are, what would it be, like 3, 3, so like 7 characters in length, and that's probably not great. um let's do the simple thing and go with this map. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at our, okay, we don't need a bingo card anymore. Need an error check. We'll probably need a make int. We're gonna mess with this load input quite a bit. We're gonna do something like this, right? But I'm gonna make it fresh. Bingo cards, don't make all the cards. I'm still happy about yesterday. We took sort of the long way about it, but at the end of the day, that second part was super easy. All right, let's go look at the tests. Make int we'll need. Make array we won't need. Won't need that. Oh, we'll just get rid of all this. Okay. All right. So make int, we like to keep that. That's one of our very common things that we got here. For this one, I think what I want to do is a list of ints, and I'm going to try to use my newfound VS Code foo to make this happen. Right, so what did I do? Control Shift down. Okay, so I'm gonna need curly bracket, comma, curly bracket. There we go. That's easy. All right, getting better at this. All right, so let's find a way to do this. Go test. So there's going to be a number of other things that I'm going to want to do in here, right? I'm going to want to make that slice, right? Type this up. I should get used to it. All right, and so let's think. Cert equal T. What we would want would be, make that a little easier to look at. And 0, 9, 5, 9, and make slice, and then we'll pass the quote. Okay. So let's go ahead and test that, and we're going to want to make slice. Going to want that, are we? Hold on. This is still going to be a string. We want. All right. Why is it not saving? There we go. All right. So make slice. I mean, we could combine those two, and maybe it would be a good idea. But we do know that we're going to be passing in a string, just a regular string, because we'll do this line by line. We will return list of strings. All right. All right, so let's see. So we're passing in that. Get out of here. So we're passing in that full string. The first thing we're going to want to do is string equals strings replace. And so what we want to do is first replace from string this space arrow space guy here, and we want to replace that with a comma. Okay, so that's the first step. So we're just going to make this the commas. As far as I can tell, hold on, let's look. Yeah, I mean, they all go in the same direction, right? So just a little bit of initial parsing right there, and then we're going to return strings split str on the separator comma, right? Right? Why does it look like this? Not enough arguments. Oh, because we have to say how many of them to do. We want to do it, I think it's -1 if you want to do it for all of them, right? We can just do it for one of them, right? I don't need this, do I? We could just pop this whole thing in a one-liner. Let's try it. Go test our test passes. We're able to do this with those. Now the question is, do we want to we're gonna separate them out, right? So let's make another test for, it'll be pretty similar. Make int slice. And what we will pass in is that string. And what we will want to return is, actually it's basically the same thing, right? With an int and all those just numbers. Need a place. All right. So make int slice. All right, so we're going to pass in a string and we're going to get out the ints. All right, so let's copy this and int slice, and what we're going to be passing in is, I'm still going to call it string, even though it's not. Let's just start typing. All right, so you know, we do need to make a all right, so for don't care about index, number in range string and we're going to int slice append int slice to make int num. We should put this above here so we kind of use it first. It's a requirement, right, for the other one. That's just how I like to do it. You know, some people do it alphabetically. I sort of build it out as I need it, right? Okay. So let's test that. It passes. Okay, so now we are able to actually do this. Obviously, it's going to fail. We haven't really. Okay, so here we go. Block scanner text. So this is making the block, which should be a string, right? And now we need to manipulate those strings, right? So we're going to say block equals so we need to make the slice of it first. Oh, okay. So I need to make a new thing. Okay, so we're gonna make an int slice here, and we're gonna get there eventually, right? So currently it is a list of strings, right? Then we want to turn it into make int slice. Okay, so now it should be at slice events. Okay, and we want to change that to input. However, this should be our input is going to be a list of ints, right? Right, because it's going to be those nested lists. All right, so let's look at main. Right, all right, so let's test it now. This is our problem right here. Okay. What do we got here? No. Okay, passes. All right, so we're now able to get just those numbers out of our initial reading the file. Okay. Now there's another thing that I'm going to do that, because I'm going to be like making different sizes of arrays for these two, is I'm going to test making one So this is like for our testing, we're gonna make a 10 by 10 array. And what we want, let's we're going to pull this out somewhat. 10 by 10, and we're going to all right, so how many of these we need? We need 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we're not going to have any argument into that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a 10 array. I'm going to have two functions and make a 10 array and make a 100 array, right? And they're going to be equal, right? But in the testing case, I'll like use the make 10 array as like an input in some of my stuff. But in main.go, I'll have some sort of array. And it'll be like a, currently, make 10 array, but it'll be turned into a make 100 array. So let's go ahead and test that. We don't have a make 10 array. This is going to be after we load our input, so we'll put it down here. And it doesn't get any thing passed in, but we do return maybe this is something that I should not care about. What's the problem here? Why? Oh. Okay. So test it. What's this? Template test. What's that even mean? Oh. Oh, you know what? That's why. Oh. That's why I've been having some weird. Can I have it be? Okay, good. Let's fix that. I should go back and change all those now. All right. What was my problem was I'm not using this, so I'm going to comment it out. I'm actually going to make it 100. That's what I'll end up having. All right, so Or is it 1,000? Isn't it? It's 1,000. All right. That would have tricked me later, wouldn't it? Why is it mad about this? Array declared but not used. Hold on. Right, so does it still test? Okay, still tests. I don't know why it's asking about anything here. Maybe it's talking about this. Okay, well, anyways. All right, so right. So what do we got now? We've got our array, we've got all of our instructions. Now it's time to start going through them. Now, the way I see it, as we go through these instructions, we're going to have to do a couple things and make some comments for what those are. We're going to have to figure out if it's, is it horizontal? Is it vertical? That's all that we need right now, right? And the nice thing is that after okay, so we're going to look at the instructions, for example, 0959, right? And we're going to see that these are common, or the same, which means it's horizontal. Horizontal? What would that mean? Yeah, horizontal. Those are these guys right here. Is that right? Yeah. 0 right here, index 0, index 9 to index 5, index 9, right? So we're doing a sort of column in the first spot and a row is 9, right? Okay. So that's going to be something we might get twisted around the axle for, right? And what we're going to want to do is, hold on, I got to let the dog out of this room. Poppy, you want to play with Marsh? All right. Right. I'm back. So, so is it horizontal? Is it vertical? We'll figure out logic for that. And, you know, like do horizontal, right? Change those indexes and do vertical. And what's nice about this way of doing it is that what we can do is, you know, rule those out for the next part, which I feel like undoubtedly will be, you know, do all the other instructions that we're having you skip over. Like that seems like a right. So all I would have to do is, now that I know that it's not horizontal or vertical, figure out whether it's, diagonal this way or diagonal this way, right? And then put a test in and do the stuff and use the same logic the whole way, right? So that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. And I can even pass the results from part 1 into part 2, right? So, and not even have to, think about the rest of the instructions, or just do them both at the same time. Return one result. Whatever. We'll think about that later. All right. So, is it horizontal? So let's make a test for that. Test is horizontal. Okay, and so that we want this to return sort of a true false and what we're going to be passing in is the like that list of numbers, right? And yeah. So we know that 0959 is going to be horizontal. So that's true. So we know that let's grab this one. 8008 is diagonal, right? So that should be false. Just getting them from over here. 2221 should be false. I'm going to add some comments here, right? So which way is this diagonal? So we will start at index 8 0 and go to 0 8. Is that right? So this would be diagonal that way, right? This is vertical. All right, now let's find another one. We'll just switch these around. 0 to 5 5, right, is diagonal in that direction. All right, so that should also be false. All right, so let's go ahead and test that. Obviously, it's going to fail. Let's make our code for it. And we're going to be passing in the coordinates, which are int, and we're going to return a boolean. And I think this is easy enough as return chords 1 equals chords 3, right? Let's test it. Passes. All right, so what we're checking is that these two numbers are equal, right? Okay, so now we can use this same set for his vertical, basically, right? What do we got here? Vertical is true. We know that it's gonna. Let's just make it. And for this one, we're going to be doing 0 and 2. Right? Okay. Passes. Okay. So now that we can check to see if they are true, right? So the trick here, right, is to know how to loop through our array, right? So what we need to do is let's make test, right? And we're going to say our array equals, how do we make this array? Make 10 array, right? Because we need an array to do the operation on. And we want the results to equal right. So which we're gonna say, what should we call it? Flip. Mark. Mark horizontal. Oops. All right, so this is our horizontal one. We're gonna get results, and what do we want? We basically want 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to become 1, right? That's what we want our result to be. Oh, we need to pass in two things, right? We need to pass in the instructions, and we want to pass in can I just pass in the we're just going to pass in the pointer to the array because we want it to be the same array, right? And then we want it to look like that. All right, so let's test it. Undefined, mark horizontal. Let's make it. Let's actually put it here, right? Horizontal, and we're gonna get coordinates, which are that, and array, which is this is going to be hard to test because of this. I mean, I could make a custom type, I guess. Well, let's see. Maybe we just test it this way, right? See if this works. See if I'm doing my pointing right. All right, so this is a horizontal one. So what we need to do is a for loop. For I equals, and what is going to change, right? It's going to be the so here is the thing. There's no telling us. See how this has 0 to 9 and 9 to 0, right? We don't know what order these are in, right? So let's start equals I'm going to just declare a variable. There it is. Var start int, and I think, why is it mad about this? What's with all this array declared but not used nonsense? I'm getting kind of annoyed with that. Is it this one? Where is this? $66.2. I feel like I've never seen. Whatever. Keep on. Onward. Start. And can I do that? Maybe multiples? Bar A, B, C string. Yeah, okay. Start and end. Okay. I think that those are done. Okay. So we need to do some logic to set them, right? Just an if chords, so which one do we care about? We care about the first one and the third one. So if chords 0 is less than, and we know that they, what if they're the same? We'll just do less than or equal to, just to do it all, because if it's just going to be one loop, then it doesn't matter what order they're in. And we're going to have to do an else for the is horizontal or an is vertical, right? Because if we don't do an else if, then it'll hit on both of them, right? So let's remember to do that, because things can be both horizontal and vertical if it's just one. Like, I feel like there actually is one here. Maybe not. All right. Oh, I see they just overlap a little bit there. Okay, so if it's less than or equal to chords 3, what's happening here?
Hello. What is on the floor? There's blood on the floor.
Don't worry about it.
What on the floor?
I don't care. Don't worry about it. Okay, so if that is equal to, then start equals chord 0 and equals chords 3. Wait, yes. Else start equals chords 3 and equals chord 0. All right, so now we've set the start and end, right? Now we are going to go over start. These are indexes, right? And we want to do that. So to I, we'll figure this out, right? Less than or equal to end, because we're inclusive of that, right? I plus plus, right? Okay, so array. So this array, right? At, this is horizontal, right? So at chords I equals, or just say plus equals. Can I do that? Oh, chords 2, right? Because they should be the same. And then I'll return the array after all that. What is this? Array declared but not used. What array? This array? Oh, I need to return it. Can I do that? See, this is where I get super confused. No, that's not right, but what did I return? All right. Let's learn something. So let's like that. Because we want to just use the memory address, right? I think. Let's not confuse ourselves. What is this? What? Start end. Array declared but not used. What if I name this Ate? It still says array. All right, so that makes me think it's coming from somewhere else. Where is it? Into test function. Make array. Don't use that. I do use that. Use it, return it. Array. I commented it out.
I don't get the signal.
All right. I might just have to deal with the fact that it is just going to do that forever. All right. It two. Oh, it's because I set it to 2. get out of this. All right. So I'm doing it wrong. I'm doing it wrong. I did 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What am I passing in here? What am I passing in? Zero to 5. Okay, so 0, 1, 2. Oh, because it should be 2 here. 2. All right, let's test it again. Still doesn't pass, but it should do a better job. Actual that's my problem. Pass. Okay. So now we're able to mark the horizontal things the way that we're expecting to. All right, now let's make another test to do the vertical ones. Vertical, and what's the one that we had that was vertical? 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1. And that should start 0, 1, 2, 2, 2. That's this one right here, right? We got a 1 here and a 1 here. All right. Let's test it. It's actually, I mean, it should be similar, right? So let's, with the exception of like the indexes. So let's, right. So instead of this, it's going to be coordinates 1, hold on, control 1 and 3, right? So those are the ones we're looking for. And that'll satisfy start and end. And here we're going to say, we're going to flip these, right? I and chords 0. Let's try it. Passes. All right. All right. Right. So I think that that's all we need to do. We just need to iterate through and assess these and see what we got. All right. So let's go ahead and make our, let's also, okay, I want to test another one. Result 1. Result 1. No. we're gonna do it up here because we're testing horizontal first, right? So result one. All right. Right. No, let's just let's make it array one and see if all right, so it didn't. Yeah, so it didn't actually change those arrays. Okay. So we're also able to do just single spots. All right, so I think it's time for our test, like our whole guy. So let's so we don't need any of these, right? We do need to load our data though, don't we? Load input. Okay, so we're gonna do that. And what do we want our result to be? 5. Comma here. Why is it mad? Oh, because it's not yet. All right, hold on, I have to do one quick thing. So we need to actually change this, right? So that it will allow us to pass in those the data as well as the array, which is currently (10 by 10) int. We're gonna have to change that when it comes time to actually go, right? So we need to do, what do we need to do? So we need to go through and change the for don't care about the index line in range data. So we're going to range through the data. If is horizontal line, then we will array equals mark horizontal line array. If else if. Is vertical. Mark vertical line in the array. Okay, so that should go through, change everything, right? Now we're going to go, so for row in array, range, column in row, if column is greater than 1, then we need a counter. Overlap, and then we're going to return overlap. Let's try it. Nope. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Not enough arguments to call part 1. Data in int array 10 in int. Oh, that's down here. I'm just going to comment this out then. All of it. Passes. All right. So I think we're able to do it. Now we're going to have to what do we got here? Data array. We need to make this make 10 array live, and then we need to make these I need to do it with a lot of stuff. All right, I think we got it. I don't know how long this is going to take. Let's see. Go main. Ooh, that takes a while. 1 second. Let's see what it is though. I feel good about it. I said that I don't feel good about it, but we did it. 1 gold star. Hey, my friends. Lots of people here all of a sudden. Welcome. Yeah, I'm doing Advent of Code. It's fun. It's fun. Today's day, what is it today? Day 5. I looked at it last night when it first came live, but only thought about it. Now we're ready for the old switcheroo. Yeah, diagonal, right? That's what we expected. So let's actually bring these back down so that we can test. Oops. Yeah, you can always send me more people. That always makes me happy. I'm not used to having people watch, so I'm also not used to talking to people in chat. So I apologize if it takes me a while to get to you. All right, so I'm going to comment all these out again. And we're going to go back and, we're just going to do the same thing where we made the test for vertical and made a test for horizontal, right? So at least we know that the remaining ones are going to be diagonal. So really all we need to do is test. Yeah, I'm wondering why anybody used floating point numbers too. Everything's ints. So let's see. Now that people are actually watching, it seems like so much more pressure. All right, so what do we need? We can just assume that they're horizontal. The question is, do we need to no, I don't think so. I think all we need to do is find out like which one's smaller and larger, and then iterate the one up and iterate the other one down at each step. I mean, this is always going to be the harder part. Have you guys seen the link for people who? Let me see if I can find it. Hopefully, this doesn't open in my main screen. Hopefully, it opens at all. There it is. Not my main screen. Good. Shoot. You gotta find the link. There's somebody made a graph of the speed at which the top 100 people completed like parts 1 and 2 of each day, and obviously none of us mere mortals will ever get there, right? But it does show sort of the complexity of each day, right? And if you even mouse over, it shows you the the crazy fools who do it at midnight, right? So you could see that like day 1 and 2 were relatively easy. Day 3 part 1 was pretty easy, and then like part 2 got much harder, right? Yesterday hardest, and so it has all the years. I was doing sort of in preparation for this year, 2015, and got like wrecked by day 7. I had a really hard time doing it. And then obviously this was the first year, and day 1 nobody even like knew about it right yet. So it took throughout the day for people to even learn. So that's why that one's so big. Real cool data. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see throughout the day or throughout the month as things get harder, sort of where they land. It does make you feel better when you don't complete it in a little bit of time. Just that even the crazy people took 10 minutes to do it. Sit an hour and a half. All right, so where were we? Thinking about how we're going to test, because I'm trying to test everything before I do it, which makes it easy because I haven't ever gotten one wrong once I've submitted an answer, right? So let's assume that if they don't, let's look at what we got here, right? So is horizontal, is vertical, right? Let's assume that if we're past this point, then it just is vertical. I've got a small child here that continues making me food. Thank you. Gotta eat. Yeah, so let's see here. So we're just gonna assume that they're horizontal and vertical, and we're gonna have to think about the logic of I don't think it matters like the order that it is if it's going to be a diagonal anyways, does it?
Will food come yet? No food come yet.
No food coming up. One moment. I think maybe I have convinced her to stay in the other room for a little while longer. Okay. That's one reason why it takes me a long time to do this. The other time is writing all these tests. But that's what I'm trying to get better at, the testing part. And Go. I learned Go like a month ago or so. So trying to get better. All right, so we're going to assume that, all right, so let's just mark test. What do we call this? Diagonal. Oops, should have. And we're going to want to do both of those diagonal ones. So we'll just do some easy ones, right? Starting from 0, 0, 0 to, I don't know, 2, 2. And we want result 1, result 1, All right, so we want 0, 1, 2. And we're going to need to have another result 2. And let's go with, shoot, shouldn't have done that. What's another good diagonal? Oh, we'll just do that one they got there. 1, 1, 3, 3. No, I already did that. 9. 7, 7, 9. And that should give me where's that? 9. Where's 9, 7, 7, 9? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So 9 would be here. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm bad at like coordinates. Let's just figure out what this would be. So that would be 0, 3, 2, 3, 0. All right. Correct me if I'm wrong. Save. All right. Let's go ahead and test them. Oops. Fail, obviously. Now let's make a method for that. And just like the other ones, we're going to pass in the coordinates. Which is oops. And the array, which in this case is 10 by 10. So we're still testing. All right. So now we need to have some logics to say, so we know that none of them are equal, right? Because if they were equal, they would have been horizontal or vertical. So now what we're going to do is test whether because either one's going to be increasing. What are these cases? Oh, Jesus. This is why it takes people a long time for the second one. And we'll get to the rest. But let's see, if we're just gonna try it, right? Because if so this is checking the first two. If this is less than that, so what are my options? Let's see what my options are. If ones. Oh my God, this kind of math just really messes with my head. I need like a piece of paper or like an. You guys can't see my piece of paper. Oh my goodness, my daughter brought me all this toy food. Desk space. One sec. All right. So, paper. I'm gonna think about it. So if there's only two diagonal options, right? So that means if the one's going down, oh, but they can be reversed, right? They can be reversed. So that's why I'm getting confused. Okay, so if we started on like the small end, right, and worked our way to the big end, then it would, we could only assess, if one's going up and if position zero's going from position 0 to position 2 is going down, then we would know the shape of it versus if it was going up. But the problem is that they can be in either order, right? So I think what we might need to do is set like at least coordinate, these two in order from smallest to largest, right? Oof. Let's see. So if 0 is greater than 2, then I'm going to rearrange them. Oh yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I don't even care. Let's see. Int, and I'm gonna populate it with chords 2, chords 3, chords 0. Chords 1. All right. So what I'm doing is in the event that something like this happens, I'm going to switch those two numbers around, right? So it's going to be 7 9 to 9 7, so that I can just sort of always know how my numbers are iterating, right? If this first number is always going down, right? Now I only have two options, right? Let me make a comment. So 1 1. So this first case 1 1 to 1 3 would stay the same, but this one would become 7 9 to 9 7. And let's even call this like 3. Wasn't going up. I'm changing it. All right. Oh my brain. This is becoming increasingly hard. The okay. So we switched those around, and now we're just gonna iterate through it. We're just gonna go through it. if, so we know that those are decreasing, and then we're going to say if now we're going to check the second spot, right? If chords 1 is less than chords 3, then we're going to have the loop where let's see, let me minimize this so that I can look at what I built for the other guys. So we're going to do our loop here. For I equals, we're gonna do it, yeah. For I equals chords, what would that be? 0. To I is less than or equal to, while I is less than or equal to chords 2. I'm just gonna let myself get wrecked if need be. We're gonna set just a J value to equal chords 1. Okay. Just because I and J is an easy enough way to iterate. Oh, I need to I plus plus. Okay. So we're going to do this change with I and J, I think. Plus plus, and then we're going to do a J plus plus. And then we'll return array. Oh, and then we need to do the opposite, right? And this might be just do an else, I think. All right, let's give it a try. What's result 2? Oh. I forgot to. What was this? 0, 0. 3, 3. Okay. Well, that would be 2, 2. All right. Okay, so it is not happy. What did... Which one? 152. So it didn't like 152, but the first one was fine. Okay. So the first one was fine. It was able to do the regular diagonal, but it wasn't able to do the other diagonal. What did it actually give me? Let me pull this up a little bigger. Then let me make it a little smaller to see if I can turn it into something that looks... There we go. Ah! Okay. Ah! Okay, whatever. We're not going to be able to do it. So let's see. It gave me... I wanted it to do diagonal. What it did was... Oh. All right. What it did was it gave me sort of this direction. That's not what it was supposed to give me, is it? I am puzzled because part of me thinks that I did it right. But I'm just putting these in wrong. 0, 3 to 3. No, I put it in right. All right, so let's make this pass. So this is saying if the first one is bigger than the second one, right? Do I need to switch these around? No, we're still doing the same thing. This is the J. We're just starting at 3 and getting bigger. Or should we be starting at 3 and getting smaller? No. So we're going through the rows. What we want to do is, we want to start at the bigger one, which is 1, and get smaller. That's what we want. Now let's test it. No, it didn't work. Let's see. It's still... Oh, that's... We did pass it this time. I just did it wrong. What I did wrong was on my test is saying that I started at 3, but I actually started at 2 here, didn't I? 0, 1, 2. So this should say 2. Now, when we test it, it passes. Okay, now we can do diagonals. Let's go ahead and do the integration testing here for part 2. I think that's all we got to do. All right, input array. Why is it mad about array? Oh, because I haven't set it yet. And what do we want? Total of 12 points. So 12 points, save that. Let's go back over here, undo. Actually, I don't need to uncomment out these, do I? I just need to, oh, I need to actually put this crap in there. Let's just copy it all, even though that sort of goes against my, we're just gonna like run both of these twice. I could just have it run the first one, I suppose. All right, so so here we're doing, no, I copied the wrong thing. I want part 1. Okay, so let's see. Else if it's vertical, else we know that it is diagonal, so we're just going to add in array equals mark diagonal with the line and the array, and then we're going to do the same thing, right? All right, go test, passes, excellent. You guys ready for part 2 in real time? All we have to do is I'm going to change all of these. I guess I could do them. Where do they start? There's so many. All right. To I think that's all I need. To okay. Now let's run it. Now this is going to take some time. You know, I'll just not run part 1. How's that sound? Go run main. It should take about the same time, right? I mean, I guess it's doing a lot more operations. All right. So no. This is the first time. This is the first time I've submitted an answer that hasn't been right. What did I do wrong? Let's think. Let's think. Bring these back to our 10s so that we can go test again. It passed, but why did it pass? Why did it pass? Why did it pass, you guys? There must be something that I'm not thinking about. Let's do more of these. Let's do the ones that we got to switch around. We can use that same, oops. We can use that same thing, but let's see, 2, 2, 0, 0, and see if this successfully, okay, so that's able to switch it around. Same thing for this. 2, 0, 0, 2. What did I do there? All right, what? Am I not doing these right? Like, is my diagonals not good? Let's find out which one starts at 0, 0 or has a 0, 0 in it. Oh, maybe none of them have a 0, 0 in it. So the first one was this. So if part 2 has this, it's got to have a 0, 0 in it. Where's one? There's no. Oh, there's 0, 0, 0, 8. Or 0, 0 to 8, 8. Does indeed go that way. Huh. I feel like this should work. Is my logic not? I wonder if my logic's not good. So if it's horizontal, which would allow it to be, because I think in my horizontal is horizontal logic here. I have them being equal, right? No. So I have an else if I feel like, hold on. Are we having a different actual question? With 2 or larger. I mean, that's what I have. Greater than 2. Set it greater than or equal to. Hold on a second. I got a phone call I got to take. I don't know. I don't know where this is going wrong. I'm not used to things passing on my tests and then failing in my. No, what we're gonna do? We're gonna copy all of this and re-paste it. Oops. What have I done wrong? Looping through them normally. Anybody watching knows what I did wrong. I would accept. So we're going to go through each line. It's either going to be horizontal, which it can be both horizontal and vertical if it's just a dot, right? But because I have the else statement, that'll be covered in the horizontal. So dots and horizontal are covered. Verticals are covered. We know those are good. Our marked diagonals should be working, right? I mean, it's working for all these. And it's 12, and that accounts for things with like threes and whatnot. This should be fine. This should be fine. I'm gonna. Oh. Do that. Guess I didn't want to do that. Whatever. Am I going to be so silly that I just run it again without changing it? Let's did I still call that part 1? Call it part 2. Oh my goodness, did I just run part 1 again? Oh no, I did run part 2. All right, well, let's Well, I got the same number. Thank you for watching me struggle through this, riding the struggle bus right now. Currently, I have tests that pass for my test data set, but do not pass for the actual data. I'm going to reread this to make sure. I'm going to type it in again, but like manually, maybe. It says it's too low. So that means that we're not counting enough, right? There should be more with the vertical lines. I mean, what does that mean? Why did... I mean, these are like the test cases, right? Where it's the different kinds of diagonal lines. And I clearly on the test have lines going in the different diagonals. Why isn't it picking them up? Let's change these to 1. Get rid of this. And run our tests again. Passes. Jesus. This kind of stuff is so frustrating when you don't even know what you could possibly be. Messing up anymore. We know from part 1. Yes. Yes, I do. It's right here. Apricot 4. I'm making my 10 by 10 array. I'm loading my input here. And getting 12 out. I mean, it's probably like, I wonder if I added like, it did like 199081 or added 1 to this, if it would work. It's always an off by 1. I mean, it is embarrassing that it takes 3 seconds to do this. It's really not optimized, but I'm gonna get the answer first. I don't think so either. um I'm just trying to think of what else I can test for, honestly, right? If I'm doing these, unless I'm doing them backwards. Am I doing these backwards? No. Like 0 0 8 8 is this line right here, right? It's not. Yeah, no, I'm doing them in the right angles. Oh, man. This is very troublesome. Columns and rows. What do you mean by that? If I swapped columns and rows, my tests here shouldn't return the proper result, right? And I'm doing it with both of these, right? I'm doing it regardless of what order these they're presented in, right? Because I know that that they can you know put them backward or forward. The order doesn't matter of them, right? Or with them. I know that it should be just my horizontal and vertical seems fine. I assume that there's some overlap on the edges, right? Here, 2, 2, 1. So I'm swapping them around so that the first index is always smaller than the second, so that I could like iterate that I plus plus, right? And then with this one, I figure out whether this second value here, right, is smaller or larger. And if the first one's smaller, then as I go down the columns or down the rows, I go up, right? Plus plus with j starting at coordinate 1. If it's bigger, then I start up here and I subtract, go down that way with the minus minus. So I feel like this works. Why doesn't it work? Is there something else that I'm not thinking about? Some sort of can't do another else after that, can I? Yeah, because for I, right, I'm always see. I would expect that too. 8 per coat for I really would. But the reason why I am struggling to believe it, right, is that when I have these tests and I'm passing in like these coordinates, I'm getting out result 1 here, which is what they should be, right? Okay. My test case. So do you want me to do like let me copy. Let's make a result 3. The problem is I'm bad at math, right? And that doesn't... Okay. I will listen to you. 1, 2, 7, 8. Okay. And what should that look like? So starting at index 1. Okay, so we're starting with 0, 1, 2. So that would be 1 right there. And then 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, so this is what it should look like. Apricot 4, my savior. Oh, man. All right. You know, the reason I used symmetrical was because I'm bad at math. And I have a hard time like making sense of this stuff. So, all right. So in this case right here, I'm gonna maximize this and I'm gonna split this over so that I can look at what I actually want. Oh, I didn't save this. I didn't do anything meaningful. Okay. So so let's loop through. What am I doing? The first thing I'm doing is swapping around. Nope, I'm not doing a swap here because 0 is less than 7. Okay. So if 1, all right, so I'm here on this else, and I'm going to start, well, what did I make it look like? Um, Beautiful. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's not right. Oh, no, that is right. It's just the line over there. So expected that I am 1, 2. Yeah, I'm off by 1 here is where I am. It's just none of my diagonals must have. So nothing on the first and second line here. However, I have something on the second line at position here. So my I is off by 1. Why would my I be off by 1? I'm starting it at this position, right? Wait, did I type that wrong? Oh, okay. So I need to do JI. Is that what I need to do? I think that's what I need to do. Is that what I need to do? No, that's not what I need. What? I don't think I did that right. No, I didn't. Oh. I think it's still I. But why is I off? Starts at coordinate 0. Oh no, it's because J's off. But J's at coordinate 1. Okay, so J should be 2. 0, 1, 2. So what I'm actually getting is I'm going to put a star X. What I'm actually getting is no. This. So why am I second line 3, 4, 5? Why? Why would I get that? Nothing about what I'm doing is telling it to start at anything that starts with a 3. Like there's not even a 3, 0, 1, 2. Oh, because it's starting at 2, 1. All right, so I do need to swap these. And now what do we got? So I treat my array. Is that right? You're right. But the thing that is and left to right. Oh, this stuff is really hard on my brain. I need to like get a pen and paper out or some nonsense. Oh, there. Did it.
Down.
All right. Hold on, honey. One sec. All right. Let's go ahead and now that we're passing this again. Okay. We're going to go ahead and test it. Just stop making noise just for fun.
Down.
1 sec. That is larger. Let's give it a shot. There it is. Apricot, you have saved the day and helped me not be so bad. Thank you. All right. That's it for me today. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for rating me. I'm new to this whole Twitch thing, right? So I don't know how to raid somebody else. Do I just look for? Let me see. Add, raid a channel. Let's see if I can figure that out. I need to find a channel to raid. Yeah. But how do I find a? Do I just like find another stream that's streaming Advent of Code? Let me see. I spelled it right. Past videos live. There we go. I found one. Let me see. I think. All right. By the way, everybody, there we go. I'll be able to do this. They got 2 people now. So if you guys enjoyed this, usually I do these during lunch, my lunch break, or in the morning because I started getting self-conscious of my personal leaderboards. But thank you for joining. I post them to YouTube afterwards. If you want to rewatch. All right, take care, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for helping. Take care. Oh, did that not work? Crap. See, I told you I was new at this. Here we go. No, I did that. I clicked a little. I clicked a little corner X because it was taking so long. I didn't know there was a countdown. Sorry. All right, there we go. Did that work?